Good evening, everybody. This is Sweat, and today we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown on the new Battlefield Aftermath trailer that dropped today. And with me, I have Sergeant Merrill
What's up, guys?
and Jake in the works.
Wait, why did he get to go
Oh,
first?
Because
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
taller. It's by height.
Are you taller?
Wait, you're not
I am
taller
I thought
than
y'all were the
me.
same height.
absolutely taller.
Wait, how
I'm
tall are
six
you?
foot three.
I remember when I used to think Jason was short, and I met him the first time, and I was like, I was wrong, and I'm
No.
never wrong. Look, can we get started on
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
All right.
It's totally off
Anyway,
topic.
we're going to talk about the trailer just a little bit and what was revealed. Jake did a great video last night on how awesome he is and how smart he is and how he correctly predicted what the new weapon is in this new DLC. So, Jake, you want to discuss? We just want to talk about that for a second because, again, it's been covered already. But you want to discuss what new weapon we're getting?
Well, we all already know what it is. It's a crossbow. But the reason why I thought the crossbow was going to be in the game was because if you think about it, think about something that's practical in like a close quarter scenario where you want to be quiet. Because one of the
Swiss
things they
Army
were
knife.
talking about is, yeah, like they were talking about like stealth kills and the stealth kill thing, and I was like, well, the only thing that could really be like nothing we'd ever seen in Battlefield before would be like a crossbow. And I've been watching a metric shit ton of Walking Dead. Like I watched all two seasons and
That
the
is
first
true.
episode.
That is so true. So many people are jumping on that Walking Dead train, dude. I mean, War Z jumped on it too. You think their release date is something that's ironic? No, man, they're jumping on that train. The crossbow is definitely something that people get excited about, and a lot of people think it's going to be a gimmick. But Jake, you just told me a few minutes ago about some things that they're doing that's actually going to make this an effective strategy.
Yeah, they talked about it in the Battlefield blog about how there's going to be explosive tips, there's going to be a mid-range tip, a long-range bolt, and I think what was the other one? The proximity bolt. So four different bolts, ammo types, whatever you want to call them. So it's kind of interesting. I'm more concerned about the damage model though, because I'm guessing that the long range is going to be like a bolt action sniper, maybe just a little bit weaker than like the SV98,
You think
something
it's going to
along
be
those
weaker?
lines.
I mean, look at the reload time. In order for them to make it practical, which maybe they're not even trying to make it practical. Maybe the when it comes to the sniping portion of the crossbow, it is going to be more of a gimmick. But the reload time on that is going to be significantly more than just pulling a bolt back. So, do you think it should be a one-shot kill?
I don't know. I don't know. I know Ben would get pretty annoyed if he was getting crossbowed while he was going for 8-man feats.
And I noticed, man, like I put up a video this morning on the trailer, and a lot of people are upset because they're looking at all the weapons that were supposed to come out for Aftermath. I mean, and I think they have a right to be upset in some cases that they threw this crossbow in here, but then they withdrew a lot of the other weapons that were supposed to come out.
Did they say there were going to be a lot of weapons, or they just said new weapons? Because
There,
I mean, we get new vehicles, which that's
there were
something.
weapons, and it was even on their website. There was the list of things that were coming out in Aftermath, and new weapons was on there. And now, mysteriously, that little bullet point is gone.
Maybe a long range crossbow and a short range crossbow counts as two different weapons to dice.
And an explosive tip.
So, I mean, I understand that people are upset that the other weapons aren't coming in, but I am not upset about a crossbow because I mean, you'll see me a number of times. I'll get in a lobby and I'll go pistols only or something because I like the challenge and I think it's fun. It's just bringing the fun back into the game for me by just creating something a different type of gameplay and having to play a different way. And I think the crossbow is going to be that for me. I don't
Well,
think it's going to be a really effective strategy. I don't think you're going to see people putting down their M16s and picking up crossbows and everyone's rolling around in this Stone Age type team deathmatch anymore.
Well, well, it's equipment. You got to keep that in mind. You don't have to give up your M16. I think it's very practical because if you think about it, one of the most annoying things is being seen on radar. And if you can get a stealth kill from a pretty good distance, I mean, a crossbow could be practical, especially if you've got good accuracy. Now, I'm guessing the sway on these things is going to be like off the
Oh
charts.
yeah.
Somebody was saying that they think that there's going to be like trimmers within game.
Oh
So
yeah.
like you could be walking around and all of a sudden it starts trimmering because if you watch the trailer as he's lining up his crossbow, he's got the sway
I
going
did
and
see
then it
that.
starts trimmering some more and he's going all over the place. But then he holds his breath, he scopes in. But you notice he's aiming for the head.
yep.
I think that proves it's headshot or bust. It's not going to be upper body one shot bolt kills.
Okay,
I
well
don't
then,
think.
as long as I can shoot somebody in the ass and they continue to run around with my arrow in their ass, I'll be happy about it.
Really interested to see if they'll be able to change the animations to actually show that. But let's go to the new game mode because Jason just touched on something new and exciting. What?
One thing,
One more thing?
we completely just shot by this topic is explosive tips versus vehicles and recon finally
that's
being
so
able
true,
to destroy
man. I
vehicles.
think that stops people from playing recon so much is because when you see the enemy vehicles coming your way, you're like, well, shit. Maybe I'll just hide until they go by, you know?
Yeah, but the question I have is, are these weapons going to transfer into the actual game?
Like the rest of the
Because
maps or whatever?
yeah, like can a recon player always just have a crossbow with no, no exception? Can he always have the crossbow on? Because I could see that being a little bit overpowered in the normal maps because then you're looking at like
No.
there's no reason to not have the crossbow as a recon
Well, you got to
player,
think about what you're giving up. I mean, you're giving up the Mav or the tugs
or the
But you
Mav.
did say that.
Who uses the Mav?
Well, I mean, you got to give something up, and I'm not sure everybody's going to be willing to do that. I bet you when it comes to that proximity thing that you're talking about, the whole motion sensor where you can fire it, I bet you it's going to be on a time thing. I'm betting it's not going to be a permanent thing. It's going to be like the motion sensor balls in Bad Company 2. It's going to be on a timed measure, so it's not permanently down there. Otherwise, you're right. Why would anybody roll the tugs?
Well, it's going to be the proximity one's going to be the humiliation kill. It's like, oh, I just killed you with a proximity arrow.
Anyway.
And then one thing though is how long you think it's going to be before a teammate shoots his friend's MAV and flies it into a group of people with an explosive tip. How long do you think it'll take for someone to do that?
That seems like more work than it's really worth. I just throw a grenade.
No, that would be awesome.
I can't wait.
I'm telling you, I'm just excited to see.
Or like an
arrows in
EOD bot,
people's
and like
asses.
you shoot it. You shoot an EOD bot that your friend's like shooting down like one of the hallways of Bazaar, and then you shoot the EOD bot as he turns hard left into a group of people and it
You
explodes.
can do
That
the
would be
same
amazing.
thing with C4.
I
then.
doubt it's going to be that powerful.
I know.
No, they got rid of the C4
Oh,
ability
okay.
on the EOD bot, unfortunately. But
Anyway.
anyways, we can move on now. I thought that was important.
And y'all didn't even want to talk about the crossbow at the beginning. So, Scavenger, right? Scavenger mode, is that the name of the new game type?
Yes, and that's where you start with a pistol, a knife, and a grenade or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you move throughout the map, you pick up different weapons and stuff. These type of game modes, they're not new, and they're more of like they used to call it arcade style in some of the older games, and it's not really something that I've ever really been crazy about. It's fun because it switches up the gameplay. It's something new, which I'm always looking to see in a game that I play this often. But I'm not sure if it's something I'm going to play on a regular basis. I mean, when Gunmaster came out, I played it quite a bit, but now it's like not
That was
much at all.
really laughable when they included our huge hit Gunmaster is making a return as well. I was like, was that a huge hit? Was that a huge hit? Because all I heard was people.
I think it's going to be.
about-
I think it's going to be fun, but it's going to get to the point where tank superiority is pretty fun. But how many servers are rolling on tank superiority mode now? Yeah, I mean, there are more popular game modes, and that's what the servers are going to roll with. So this is going to be something that I think is going to be fun in the beginning, but in the long run, maybe they should have put their focus into something else, like new weapons.
It all comes back. What were you saying, Jake?
I don't. Oh, I remember now. I was gonna say I don't remember, but I actually think the game mode sounds cool. I think in comparison to the two game modes that we've been given, three game modes: Conquest Domination, Gunmaster, and Tank Superiority. I think in terms of comparing them to those, I think this sounds way better. I mean, at first I thought Gunmaster was going to be cool, but you can't even edit
No,
the guns. It's
Didn't they
stupid.
change? I thought they
And-
changed it where you could.
Well, they just changed the way it worked, I thought. I don't know. At
That's-
first, I mean, the first 2 months you couldn't touch
Right.
it, so I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
And Tank Superiority is that game mode's a joke. I mean, that's all there is
not
to it.
true. I enjoy tank superiority.
That's 1 in 3.
No, that's a lie. That's a
1 in
lie.
3.
That is a bold.
How
I don't
else
even
are you
believe
going to
it.
complete the SKS assignment without tank
How
superiority?
many rounds of Tank Superiority have you played?
I want to say about a dozen.
Okay. How long has Armored Kill been
I'm
out?
with
What
you.
is
I bet
today's
it's
date?
because no servers play it anymore.
Yeah, nobody. That's true.
Now,
Even if
I
you
get-
did
I have
like
a
it,
lot
you
of
couldn't find a
European-
game.
I have a lot of European subscribers that say, "Oh, people in Europe run it all the time." So I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, but like American servers or the servers that I can access without getting kicked off, do not, yeah, do not roll with tank superiority. And if they do, it's like 1 out of 12 in the rotation.
Here's my issue with this game mode so far that they just announced, and I'm sorry, I have an issue with something I haven't even played yet. But predetermined weapon drops, like the most powerful weapons are always going to be in the exact same spot. Like,
There's nothing.
Yeah, it works in Halo, you know, and maybe that's
this shit ain't Halo.
I think it's a good idea. This is like old school mode. Remember old school mode in COD 4? I love that game mode, and nobody played it.
That's
Didn't even
because
know it
you're
existed.
weird. You're weird.
Didn't even know it existed.
Yep.
Yep.
Really? It's where they had like drops on the ground and you could run and pick up weapons. It was a lot of fun. So much fun. I mean, it's like Halo.
This shit ain't Halo.
Well, there's crossbows. It
makes sense to me, man. Okay, if you like in the map, if you have an area
like
that's going to be really great for snipers, you know, you put the sniper weapon right there, so people will fight over that weapon, and the victor will have that spot with the sniper rifle.
The best part I did here, though, is it's only like 1 mag per weapon. So
Yeah,
even if somebody does go get, you know, said M16, you get 30 rounds. It better not give you 30.
You got to make it work. I think it'll be fun, but in the long run, I don't know if it's going to be a memorable game mode in Battlefield 3.
No, it's going to be, you know, just the regular maps in a rotation.
Did you guys notice it was fall on the map that they showed with that game mode?
So exciting. And it's going to be fall in real life. That's amazing.
Anyway, finally, you guys might have something to talk about, but I wanted to talk about the vehicles.
Yeah, the vehicles actually sound pretty cool.
Because I was really excited when I think I read this. I made a video about this a couple months back whenever they first, you know, hinted at new vehicles and you know, having to actually take civilian vehicles and make armored vehicles out of them and military vehicles out of them, which is kind of what you see when you see in the middle of the video game, you see the trucks with the big heavy machine guns mounted on top and stuff, and that's kind of what we get. You know, we get a van, apparently a big van. It's called a Rhino.
Is it
Rhino?
With armor and a remote control machine gun. It's not the same as like a IRL Jihad Jeep that I was kind of hoping for, but it's close. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's cool. It it adds to the immersion of what's going on with this DLC, which is, you know, after an earthquake, and I think that's going to be really cool. I mean, you know, with all the shaking of the screen and the new vehicles that make you feel like you're a part of this catastrophe that happened in this area, it can only be good.
I wish that all the vehicles and all the weapons were interchangeable for all the maps. That's what I wish.
Yeah.
I wish there were ways to put, all right, at least bring these to the Karkin maps. Because, I mean, it's pretty much going to be a from what I understand, it's going to look exactly like the Karkin maps, except after an earthquake hit.
Right.
So, you know, I understand that we build these after the earthquake hit or whatever. But come on, if an earthquake hit an hour ago, the first thing I'm thinking of is not, let me turn this van into an armored transport because an earthquake just hit.
Now, I'm curious to see if they do a lot of what they did with Operation Metro and Rush, which is to have, like, after that first portion, I thought that was so cool when the aircraft comes in and bombs that one area, opens up the metro. I want more stuff like that, like transitioning levels. You know, after we capture the first set of objectives, I want to see an earthquake happen and it open it up to the next set of objectives. That's what I want to see.
They do that. Let's see. They do that on Karg at the beginning. They do that at the beginning of Strike at Karkin, but they just use aircraft to blow up like buildings or just bomb a beachhead.
I want to actually
see
really a transformation of the level.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're going for, but I'm saying like they'll say, oh, but we do that. Yeah.
I've been killed by the one on Metro. I've been killed by the one on Karg.
I've been killed by the one on Karkin. You can get that rubble can drop on you. True story.
Anyway,
I hate the one.
Didn't
on
we
Metro.
say we wanted to make this video 10 minutes?
We did. I think that's a big thing. Is there any particular points that you guys had from the blog or from anything else that y'all wanted to cover? Because I'm
just just
I'm
so that.
pretty
Go ahead.
interested in seeing how this shakes out. You know, I if this is like Karkin, then I am going to be excited because Karkin is probably my favorite
Hmm.
map map pack out of all of them.
Because it was traditional
Yeah.
battlefield. You
Yep.
know, close quarters. That's not traditional battlefield. That was trying to pull in some of the Call of Duty crowd. The armored kill, that was just kind of a, it was kind of a it felt like a gimmicky DLC, and it plays out better on the PC. But the console guys, uh, they're getting left out in what Armored Kill was supposed to be about. And now you have this one coming out, which I think is going back to what they had in mind with Back to Karkin, which is expanding the base of the game, what
I think a
Battlefield's all
lot of
about.
people are going to say Armor Kill is supposed to be traditional Battlefield with open maps
It didn't feel that way. It
and
didn't, and it's because
multiple points
Rush
of
was so fucked up, and that's why.
Well,
greed.
Armored Kill wasn't traditional Battlefield. Traditional Battlefield wasn't giant open fields with like 100,000 vehicles coming at you. Traditional Battlefield is like big maps with building fighting and stuff like that. Like
Well,
Karkan
what's
is a
the
good
one
example.
on Bad Company? I think it was with the hills, and that was pretty fucking open, and you could run for literally 3,000 meters.
Oh, the one with the giant
And
turbine.
and they had the fall trees that you could
Yeah,
hide in on the
Don't
outside edges where all the
I
snipers.
I don't even
don't
Yeah,
know the
remember. I
name,
don't even
that
remember what it was.
that was
I don't like that map.
well, yeah, that was pretty.
but it is. They're returning to what Battlefield is all about. If they return and make some solid maps for Rush, which let's make no mistake. I mean, Conquest has its place, but there are a lot of awesome Conquest maps out there. And I think these maps are going to make for awesome Conquest maps. They need to make sure that it's really good for Rush because that's what I think most Battlefield players really enjoy playing.
Mhm.
Conquest is great, but it plays out real slow. Rush gives you those really high intensity moments that you just can't get with any other game mode.
I think you're way off base with the most players play. I think most players play Conquest, and I don't think it's close.
Really? I
Hmm.
don't know. But
Yeah, by a large
then it's a
margin.
personal thing. Then I really enjoy the Rush game mode.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I enjoy Rush more too, but the Battlefield players are Conquest players
Well, then
for
there
the
you go.
large majority. But I appreciate you guys hopping in and discussing all this. Do y'all have any more points before we sign off?
Oh my gosh. Yep. Looks like the PS3 guys will be getting Aftermath. They just announced it on November 27th.
Wow,
Mm.
I am jelly.
that is my father's birthday. True story.
So, well, you're not
Well, at least
PS3.
it's a good day for one of us.
I'm not a PS3. Sorry. Well, on that
So, yeah, there you go.
on that news, thank you guys for watching. I encourage you guys to check these other gentlemen out. Of course, their links will be in the description below. And guys, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And see y'all
Bye.
see y'all soon.